everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Patterson Report podcast. I'm Brandon. That's Ryan. It's a Friday night, a little bit different from our usual schedule, but quite simply, I just didn't have it in me last night.
Happens to the best of us. Trust me, I've had many of those nights.
It was just not happening. So we talked about it. I was like, I could probably give you like 15 minutes when my head explodes. And Ryan was like, you know what? Let's just do it tomorrow night.
The quality of the show goes way down. I remember, what was it? The Rams, was it the Rams Seahawks the first time, or like the Rams Niners on Thursday Night Football where we did one? And I didn't tell you I was sick because I didn't know I was sick. I got sick in like those moments, and the show quality just dipped because I was sitting there like, please help.
Yeah. There was a lot of monologues in that one. So yeah, we're back to full strength now. You know what? Actually, which is a better tie-in for that. Which
that's a good tie-in.
Yeah, a lot of teams in the NBA at the current moment aren't at full strength, whether fraudulently or not. But we wanted to talk about some of the proposed ways around the tanking issue, and there's no better time to talk about it than today because I'm looking at the Indiana Pacers injury report, quote unquote, for tonight's game in DC. Obviously, Wizards horrible team in the East. Pacers horrible team in the East. Well, not horrible team in the East, but they're both of these teams are jockeying for a better draft spot at this point. So this is the injury report. Cam Jones, questionable. TJ McConnell, questionable. Micah Potter, questionable. Andrew Nembhard, doubtful. Andrew Nesmith, out. Siakam, out. Zubac, out. Obi Toppin, out. Halliburton, out. But like, you got to start bringing guys in. Like, that's not. They don't have it. Like, that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, that's 10 guys out or questionable, and questionable means we haven't said it yet.
Yeah, and the league, it's a slippery slope. All the reports coming out that they were getting pressure from, at least on the Jazz side, from the Thunder, because they own their picks, so there's motive there. I saw the report about the gambling companies as well.
Yeah, and they were getting furious with Silver, and
because everyone's contacting support because these guys are sitting out whole quarters.
Yeah, I'm curious where you land on that, because initially I'm not a big Adam Silver supporter. I think he oversaw the NBA's golden age at one point pre-pandemic when, there were, talks, not that it was ever in a million years going to happen, but people were having discussions of, hey, what's the bigger sport in America right now? Is it the NBA or is it football? It was always going to be football, but those conversations were happening. Like, the NBA was close enough to have that discussion occur. And that was Adam Silver. And at one point, he was the best commissioner across the three sports. But, I mean, he is just so far from that now that I haven't liked anything that he's done probably since the bubble. And then he came out against tanking. And I was like, you know what? I'm on board with this one in particular. We got punished royally for tanking, not just monetarily. These teams need to be punished similar to the Sixers. And then I found out why, and I just hated them even more, because all sports are entertainment to a certain degree, all right? I don't think Santa Claus is real. I get it.
Whoa.
The NBA is the most entertainment-based product of the three, and it's not particularly close.
Yeah, I agree. And it's a race to the bottom with him and Manfred, honestly, I think.
Who thought that was possible?
I didn't think that was possible. I mean, Goodell's not great, but man, he's not doing anything to mess anything up.
No, he's got his hands off the wheel. I mean,
to be fair, there's a door there where he could get there, and it's an 18th game.
Okay, he could ruin this. He could station a team overseas. Like, there are
the layups there. The layup is right there to add an 18th game on. That is the layup for him to go to the bottom.
Yeah, because that is just to hell with player safety. More ad money, more gambling money, etc. But yeah, I mean, it was just and I agree with the premise. Like, I want teams to be punished for tanking the way that we were. Like, I've been seeing all these tweets and stuff, and it's like that human resources meme. Where it's like, oh, the Sixers, like, that's okay, sweetie. It's like, no, you forget I mean, basketball operations was removed by the league. We were told, no, you can't have him anymore. That's insane. These teams are getting $500,000 fines, whatever. They fired our GM.
Yeah, many forget because it feels so long ago, but yeah, Sam Hinkie was a madman and he did it right. And now we're here. We have the Wizards trading for players who aren't going to play for them. Smart idea, by the way, to save their draft capital in a what seems to be a generational draft class. And it's just, man,
they're just doing what Hinkie did. It's the same playbook.
It's not the same playbook though, because Hinkie just tore down the roster completely and nobody.
Well, yeah, but think of how many. I mean, I haven't seen what the Wizards have gotten in return, but Hinkie was a madman with acquiring the extra picks for salary dumps. I mean, we were a salary dumping ground for several seasons, as long as you attach the pick to these guys.
That's
Jason Richardson didn't come here to win basketball games.
That's what the Nets are right now. So,
yeah, similar vibes. Like, we'll take whoever the hell you want. Just throw in a pick.
I mean, that was Michael Porter Jr., and then he started hooping. So
yeah. Well,
they got a pick with him. I think it was 2032. That's going to be valuable when, Jokic is long done, it feels like. Because who knows if he wants to play ball. He just wants to go watch his horses race. Respect. But
yeah, he's just here for fun.
Yeah, he's not here for long. But there's a line that needs to be drawn in the sand because MLB did the same thing with tanking. And now the Rockies are picking outside the top 10 because they're tanking. No, man, the Rockies are just bad.
Yeah. Well, weren't the Rockies too bad for too long? So they triggered some rule in Major League Baseball that they couldn't be in the top 10 anymore.
And that is a rule they're trying to do with basketball in the top 3. That was an idea that was on the table.
I don't mind that because it doesn't remove the strategy of tanking, which, I mean, competitively it sucks, but as far as team building goes, there's some validity there. It just limits how long and how blatantly you can do it. Like, I mean, the Sixers last year, they tanked to get inside the top 3 and try to salvage a lost season. That's what they should have done. There was no other path for them that made sense. And then in that instance, yeah, you get your lottery pick. It's on you then to execute those high picks. When you have teams like Washington comes to mind who are just always there, well, then there's no risk because you're not going to be there again next year. You don't have to nail that pick. Same with the Rockies. Like, if they had hit on a couple of those picks, you start to pull yourself out of that situation.
It is a different situation that we're talking about with basketball and baseball. Baseball, you need a lot more players to go right.
Yeah,
to have a good
and it
team.
takes a lot
look at Paul Skeens. Like,
yeah,
everyone thinks he's going to leave, and that's going to cause a whole nother fiasco. Lockout 2027, whatnot. But
that's happening regardless, and
that's a whole nother mess and a whole nother sport where I'm trying to stay on track here. I'm doing a terrible job at it, like I always do, because there's so many parallels in these sports. But yeah, I mean, you see the Wizards have picked over the years. I mean, I could start naming picks, and we probably won't remember these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just tough when you're not picking the right guys either.
No, but that's where I think it holds the teams at least a little bit accountable, where you can build through a tank and you can be there for 2 or 3 years in a row.
The Thunder did it. The Thunder did it.
But it puts it on you to hit on those picks. And I think that's why I like it, is that you have there's pressure. You have a timeline where we need to hit on these next, let's use basketball as a reference. Most teams, you get 2 to 3 picks per draft. You want to hit one. You got to hit at least once or twice per draft to build that way. Because you can't, and now you're looking at Colorado in baseball where they're not ready to compete, and they triggered this, contingency where they can't pick top 10. So now you're like turbo fucked.
Yeah, their farm system is not great either. It's not like they have like some prize prospects like the Phillies do with Aiden Miller, Andrew Painter. I don't even think they have a guy like that that notoriety. And, Connor Griffin, like at least the Pirates are hitting on those picks because they have Connor Griffin coming up. Bubba Chandler's probably going to be the 2 this year. Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
So you see the foundation building in Pittsburgh, but there is absolutely no foundation in Colorado. So I get that you hold them accountable a little bit, but I think basketball, it makes more sense to hold them accountable because it's what, 12 guys? You don't even play 12, you play 8 or 9, 10 on a given night.
So you don't need to hit as consistently.
Baseball, you circle through everybody. You have 100 plus people in the farm system and the minors, stuff like that. It's way more complicated. So
but you have 26 at every level roughly. So you do that math, and
then there's high A, and then there's different levels of A ball, and so
it's a lot of people that you have to hit on. Whereas basketball, you're right.
You hit on one, you change your franchise.
Exactly. I mean, look, the Sixers are a great example of that, honestly, because I mean, you look at when they were during the process. I mean, they missed on everybody but Joe. I mean, Nerlens Noel was a miss. Michael Carter-Williams was a miss. You trade Mikal Bridges, which is inexplicable. Jahlil Okafor was a miss. Markelle Fultz was a miss. That guy who we can never remember went to Texas Tech and then had that horrible disease. Unfortunately for him, missed.
Is that Zaire Smith? Is that is that who they picked? That's who they picked instead of. That's who they traded for Mikal.
Yeah, Zaire Smith was a miss. I mean, Ben Simmons, you can debate, but his basketball career as a whole turned out to be a miss. His Sixers tenure, probably not a miss.
At least he gave Kevin Durant the ball, though.
Yeah. That's
silver lining.
Yeah. And then, Joe, obviously, massive hit and changed the franchise because we're watching this team right now who's lost 7 of their last 8. Coincidentally, Joe hasn't played in a lot of those. And you're seeing that, the Sixers don't win basketball games without Joel Embiid. And that's horrible roster construction. It is the opposite of what really both other teams in the city do. I mean, the Phillies, for all of their flaws, do manage to win games without Bryce. Eagles, similarly, where, I mean, they can lose a lot of guys and they're deep enough to kind of sustain that. The Sixers are built so horribly that as soon as they lose Joel, as great as Tyrese Maxey's been, they just can't win basketball games. So they're another instance where you hit once, you change your franchise, because if you subtract Joel Embiid, the last, not that it's been fun, but the last 13 years of Sixer basketball would just be crippling.
Yeah. That has me, pose the question, who do you think runs their team the worst out of the city? I mean, Howie's number 1 in the best power ranking. He's number 1. Who's at the bottom for you? Is it Morey or is it Dave?
I think without question it's Morey because, I mean, Dave is asleep at the wheel currently, but he's descended to where we accuse Morey of being. Morey's always been here. Like, there were years where Dave took the big swings. He hit a little bit. I mean, he was at the helm when this team made a World Series. They won the division on multiple occasions. They went to the NLCS. Now, are we frustrated with Dave right now? Absolutely, because I do, again, he's asleep at the wheel. That's Morey's homeostasis. He's always asleep at the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, for me, it's the question would be between Morey and eventually Danny Briere running the Flyers, but he inherited a shit show, so I think he's just trying to figure himself out.
I mean, Mitch Cobb's a great pick. I forget who they picked last year. I think he was really good.
They had 2 high picks. The problem is they have all these young guys performing, and you can look at it as, talent evaluation on his part or coaching with a new coach this year. I mean, the Flyers, like I said, I give him a little bit of a pass because he inherited a team that for almost a decade insisted they didn't need to rebuild, and they did. But yeah, I think Morey stands alone as probably the worst GM in Philadelphia.
2013 Phillies type.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they just kept trying to stay alive, and it just kept setting the franchise further and further back.
I remember those days. That's when I forgot that Philadelphia was a baseball town.
It took a long time.
And soon we might get back there because if you'd like to dive in on this recent report.
I think, look, you and I have gone back and forth about this. I know the report you're talking about, and we're going to get to that in a second, but I might not have been wrong. I might have just been early when I said that, the Phillies have enjoyed this honeymoon period of sports fandom in this town, and the unwavering support and the love and the joy and all, what you felt in CBP for the last, really since 22. There's been some frustrations in the last couple of years, but you could always talk yourselves into, this is the year this team's going to do it, and the hope. I think that gravy train's come to an end. I really think that it's going to be a wake-up call this year to the players, the organization. I think you're going to see some seats. I think people are frustrated. I think you're going to hear more boos than we've heard previously. I think it's going to be a different tone in Citizens Bank Park than this unwavering love and support that they've gotten used to.
Yeah, and it's going to be a tough one. I mean, I feel like the Schwarber move distracted everyone from how awful an offseason it was for them. Don't get me wrong. I love having Schwarber back. There's nothing wrong with that move. It is a good bit of money. Probably, I don't think it was an overpay because he would have got the same amount of money in Cincinnati or Toronto potentially.
They say he took less to stay.
Yeah. So that was a great move, but everything else, man, it just you get these up and coming prospects, and outside of Aiden Miller and Andrew Painter, they could be gone at the deadline. For a relief arm that's going to last one season, it's Dave's playbook. I mean, who was it? Oh my gosh, I forgot the name for the Giant system. He's throwing 102, or it's the Angels, I think. It's one of the two. I can't remember. But he's throwing 102 out here in spring training, and we traded him for Estevez, I think. So it's probably Kansas City.
No, we acquired Estevez from the Angels. He went to Kansas
City. Okay, that's my bad. So it was the Angels. Okay.
Yeah, but I
mean, getting the order here, out of order.
I'm hopeful. So to your point about the prospects, I'm hopeful about. You didn't mention Justin Crawford, and I'm hopeful that he does stick because at least the rhetoric coming out of camp and from Topper is that he is the quarterback of the outfield. It seems as though center field is his to lose, and he has complete control over the outfield. That is what I've heard as of today. He has veterans on both corners, but he has been given kind of the authority to command the outfield. That speaks well of him having a pretty long leash in center. Hopefully that works out. Larry Bower said he reminds him a lot of Juan Pierre, which I would love for that to be the case. Juan Pierre had a great MLB career. So he's one that I think gets looked over that could be a big piece. But again, to your point, I mean, the Schwarber signing was great. I couldn't even imagine the vibes around this team if you don't make that signing.
There'd be way more empty seats than you just said 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. But then you look around at the rest. I'm encouraged by the bullpen. I try to call balls and strikes around here, no pun intended. I think they've put together a pretty decent bullpen this offseason. I like Keller. Obviously, Duran's back. You lose Strom, which sucks a little bit, but you'll make up for that. They got this new guy, Burkhouse, with that funky three-quarter delivery. You're going to get Alvarado back. I do like the pen. The lineup is just disgusting. It's horrible. And this is where we can get into that report that, you and I were both talking about pre-show where, Bryce Harper's been, I think, a pretty patient superstar. I think he could have been far more of a diva than he has been, given the way that Dave's managed his team the last 3 years. Publicly calls Bryce out in the last year, famously doesn't go well, still seems to be a problem. And then it comes out today, thanks to Devin Caney, that Bryce lobbied to get some protection behind him in the four-hole and suggested Rhys Hoskins as an option, who's a free agent, who's a beloved Philly, who hit really well in CBP. And I don't know if it's like a power trip on Dave's part or what the deal is, but he said, the report says that Dave kicked the tires and decided against it. There's a lot to look into there. Is the fit there? Is it obvious? Probably not. No. But your star player is saying, look, and you're the one that called me not elite. So you said I did not have an elite year last year, which valid. Bryce probably didn't. A lot of circumstances. You're going to put Alec Bohm behind him. He's not going to have an elite year this year. There's no reason to pitch to Bryce Harper right now. And he's asking you to help him. And you said, I considered it, but no.
Bo Bichette didn't want to come here.
That deal's bananas. I mean, I don't know if I would rather us made it or not, but good.
Have you seen those reps at third? They haven't been the cleanest.
No, but it didn't even have to be Bo Bichette. It's the idea that your superstar who's represented the city as well as any current Philadelphian athlete asked you for help, and you decided that he doesn't need it. It comes off weird to me.
Yeah, one second. My camera's being wonky. There we go. Okay. So yeah, it's just he needs help. He's requested help so much. And then the reports with the Bo Bichette stuff we talked about earlier in the offseason really struck me in a negative way that, yeah, we had the money, but we chose not to spend it. I see why Bryce is getting angry. I wouldn't be surprised if he asked out, and I'll support him wherever he goes at this point.
Yeah, and again, it didn't have to be, Bo Bichette was the dream. I think you could have consoled this fan base in some capacity if you just showed that you saw the same things that we do. Like Eugenio Suarez was a great example. Is he a weird fit for what this team needs? Maybe. You could shoehorn him into almost any infield spot, though, which I think you could have found a slot for him. This is a guy who hit, I believe, almost 50 bombs last year, signed for a one-year deal. Like, I get why Dave didn't want to do that dirty deal that the Mets did with Bichette, where, I mean, it's a monster deal. It's essentially a 1 year. I mean, it's like organizational malpractice, but you had to do it to get your guy. If they had bounced back and said, look, we're not going to do that kind of deal, it doesn't benefit the team, but then went out and got Suarez and showed that they knew this team needed more pop, I think that would have changed a lot of the narrative. It's this idea that it feels like Dave knows better than everybody else. And that's what I think is rubbing Harp the wrong way.
Yeah, and that's where GMs who get on this kind of power trip, they go wrong, and it leads to a spiral per se. And I've seen it. I mean, I think the Titans are the best example of it way back in the day. How we got A.J. Brown. The GM thought he knew better than Vrabel, picked Treylon Burks. We know how that played out.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's going on again here in Philadelphia, and it's just, man.
It's been, to your point, it's been so nice. We've gotten so used to, Philly being a baseball town and the joy that the Phillies bring. And, I hope I'm wrong. And, there's still a lot of talent on this team. Like, I'm frustrated right now because of the way our GM is managing the team, despite himself. This is a really, really talented baseball team, and they're going to be really good this year. Now, the same ceiling exists. We've done nothing to address that. But if people are worried about having a fun spring and summer, I mean, this team's going to win a lot of baseball games. It's going to be they could very easily win the East again. So, I mean, it's going to be another good Philly season, but I just don't think they've done anything to change their ceiling, and that's what's frustrating people.
We say this now, I agree with you, but, man, when I open Twitter late April and I see Alec Bohm go around into a double play, there's going to be mixed vibes there, and, I'm rooting for Bohm. I'm rooting for all these guys. It's just, how much longer are you going to have Zach Wheeler? I mean, he's going to come back. The timeline looks good. He's going to come back really soon. Good.
JT had him throwing like 98. Now, that's not game speed. That's just letting it rip. But that arm sounds pretty healthy.
Yeah. So, but how much longer are you going to have him? He plans to retire at the end of his deal. Luzardo's a free agent, could walk after
you got to lock him up before the season ends.
Yeah, precisely. And then Nola, can he bounce back? It is an even year.
It's even year Nola, so he might
be a even year. Losing Ranger is going to be a hit. We'll see how much Painter pitches. Taijuan Walker, obviously his contract comes off the books, which is another reason why this fan base is so angry, because you could manage it like him and Castellanos were coming off the books, and they just didn't.
Yeah, now we're gonna pitch Taiwan this year, who gets a bad rap. Like, I like him he's a good teammate. He's a half decent pitcher. It just sucks that he carries a cap hit of what? I mean, he's north of 20 million, isn't he?
Yeah, or something like that. I'm looking
he's like 18 to 20, I think.
I'm looking to see free agency next year, and it's not good.
Well, so, like I said, you can't let Luzardo get that far.
You can't let Luzardo get that far. I'm just looking elsewhere where they could have kind of spent that money. I mean, it's Skubal and it's everybody else.
Yeah, well, Walker's going to free up 18 million next year, and then Cassie's cap hits another. I think we ended up having to foot about 17 of that after the vet minimum, and then we get some kind of credits from the league or whatever. So I think it ended up being like 17-ish. So that'll open up another.
Should use that money in
35.
Should use that money for Luzardo, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think you let him find out what free agency would look like. I mean, especially they burned themselves with Schwarber last year, where they bet against him, and he had a monster year, and he ended up paying top of the market. Luzardo had a really good playoff, but he's coming off of he had a relatively bumpy regular season. He had a really good playoff.
It was that one start that kind of just threw a wrench in all of his numbers. Where Rob kind of just left him in a little too long.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, right now, he's affordable. I mean, you could pay him as a 3, and he could pitch his way to a 1. I guess is kind of what I'm saying.
I'd probably give him 18 million a year. I'm pretty comfortable with that.
You can't pay him Taiwan Walker money. You'd have to pay him more than that. I
know. It's probably going to be in the range of 20 something.
Yeah, I would say he's probably
2025. I'm wishful thinking on. Yeah. I mean, if Michael King's a good pitcher when he's healthy. He's very good when he's healthy. If he's getting 25, Luzardo's probably going to get 25 at least. That's probably the floor.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking because.
Yeah, I'd love to pay him 18. I'd love to,
I'm sure you would.
I'd love to give him some Kawhi Leonard. Have Luzardo plant a couple trees and.
Yeah.
You give him $17 million a year, but
not gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen. They're gonna get on it. They're gonna get on us for that. I don't know why Adam Silver has gotten a pass for that too. Kawhi and the Clippers just didn't get punished for that.
Yeah, nothing came out of it.
Nothing came out of that, but tanking is terrible.
Yeah, he should. I just looked it up. If ironically enough, and nostalgia wise, it hurts to say this, but. Age and longevity and all. I mean, I would give Luzardo the deal Suarez got with Boston.
Easily.
5 years, 130, fine.
In a heartbeat. I mean, you got to keep him on this team. If he walks, I think that's the end of this.
The next day.
Yeah, that's the end of this era of Philly baseball.
Yeah, if Luzardo walks out the door for nothing, then you have to fire Dave immediately.
It's over. Like, who's going to be your number 2? I mean, hopefully it's going to be Painter.
But then you got nothing.
But then in 2 years, Painter's going to have to anchor the whole thing because Nola's going to be
you're still retired.
Wheeler's going to be retired for sure. Who else is there?
Chris.
Oh yeah, Chris. I forgot about that. We got to pay him too, by the way.
No, we're good. We extended him last 2 seasons.
I know, but I hope there's something in place for him. I hope maybe he has. No, I'm just kidding.
I think we have a lot of team control left on Chris. I think we're going to deal with that eventually.
I think it's a lot of team control as well. I'm going to make sure how much it is. Where's he at? I got to see. It's great when you got to scroll.
Offensively low.
It's great when you got to scroll down to find him.
We're signed through 2028 for 4 years, 23 million. That's offensive.
So what they'll do is they'll probably play out this year, play out next year. 2028 is his last year of arbitration. They'll probably give him some nice deal then. I'll give Dave credit for that one.
Yeah, actually, I didn't realize this. We technically control Chris until 2030.
Yeah, but you got to give him money before then.
Well, so it jumps up. The way that they structured the deal, it's nothing. It's 5.6 AAV through that 2028 season. Then in 2029 it jumps to 14, and then 2030 is 15.
That's ridiculous. I'm looking at it right now too, and he's going to hit the escalator, so it's going to be 19 mil in the last year, but that's still whatever.
That's still fine. I mean, assuming I think he's only like in his mid 20s or mid to late 20s, so he'll still be.
He's 29.
Really? He's late. He's older than I thought.
Yeah, so
I mean, he'll still be fine as a pitcher. He'll be in his mid 30s.
yeah, they'll do right by him. I mean, if Wheeler's throwing this kind of heat at his age, I mean,
yeah, and Chris. I mean, his fastball is not where he makes his money. It's that devastating changeup.
Yeah, it's probably one of the later things to go, like one of the last things. But yeah, so the pitching staff is great. Like we said, if Luzardo walks out the door, it's over.
Pretty much.
It's going to be Chris and Painter for the foreseeable future. And, you feel okay about that, assuming Andrew Painter's what he pans out. There's a chance that goes completely wrong.
He never figured it out in AAA. Now, that could be – some guys don't, but he never figured it out in AAA. He was a 4.0 plus every year guy. And it just felt – I'm rooting for the kid, but it just felt like everybody already anointed him the savior, and nothing that he has done at the highest level in AAA has really backed that claim up.
Look, I get why everyone has, put him as the next big ace of the club. There was trade discussions for Ketel Marte, and I'm forgetting the names. They're not in my head right now. But other star players, and they're like, no Andrew Painter. He's off the table.
And we kind of went all in on him. I mean, for a long when was it 2 years ago? It was, you had Painter and you had Mick Abel, who were supposed to be like 1A, 1B, both supposed to be studs. You bring up Mick Abel, a little bit bumpy, you ship him off. So
shout out Mick though.
I like the guy. Didn't work out for him in Minnesota too well.
He did everything he needed to do for this organization to bring in a, premium closer.
Yeah, he got us to Ron.
And I wish him nothing but the best in Minnesota, and hopefully they have a frontline starter for the future.
Yeah, but it does mean you push all your chips in now on one guy to anchor the pitching staff for years to come. There's no hedge anymore. Andrew Painter has to hit.
Yeah, I'm worried that that's what's going on with Aiden Miller as well.
Yeah. I mean, you could
I don't know if you've read some of these prospect reports of him, but they get me excited. But
he's got it all. He's a good fielder. He has more speed than I gave him credit for. I mean, I don't watch a lot of minor league ball, but since spring training started, I've watched some of the highlight reels that have been posted. I mean, he can run. So that'll be nice to have. He has a pretty good pop. I don't know how quickly that's going to translate, but it'll pick up eventually. Like, he could make a difference for this team this year. His spot is a little bit funny. I mean, he's not going to get to see everyday playing time this year.
Maybe. You never know. They might go around and trade Bohm. I don't think they will. I think you're right, but there is a 5% chance that he gets everyday playing time this year. That's what I'd put it at. Yeah,
not before the trade deadline. I mean, if Bohm's red hot and they like what they see from Miller behind the scenes, maybe you flip Bohm for some value. But outside of that scenario, I think we're stuck with Bohm all year.
That's the conundrum. It's like, I like Alec Bohm as a player. He's a good ball player. He's a really good third baseman statistically. It's just that Dave put him in the absolute worst spot for Alec Bohm. Like, if Alec Bohm hit sixth, everyone in the city would love him.
Yeah, he'd be a great, because he does hit. Like, he hits for contact really, really well. He's a
5'6" guy. Like, if he was batting fifth or sixth, no one would have a problem with it. Everyone would be like, all right, Alec Bohm is still our third baseman for the future. Let's lock him up. He's a good middle of the order bat. But they put him cleanup, and it's the worst possible outcome because, the whole thing with Schwarber, he's better in leadoff. We don't have a problem with that. It's
It is what it is. If he's
It is what it is. It's just a weird situation there. But yeah, it's
bizarre. But we will see what this team brings us. I'm glad we waited an extra day to do it because we went a little bit over even. This would not have been quite as long if we did it yesterday. But until next week rolls around, I'm Brandon. He's Ryan. This is the Path and Report. We'll see you next week. Peace.